Hello, guys. Welcome to Polytopia. Hope you are doing great today. We have a special stream for you today. The Polytopia World Championships are coming with the final in Stockholm on December 6th. So we decided to show you some games from the qualifiers. Some of them have already ended, and it's Imperious, Barter, Kickoo and Zebasi, and we know the names of the players who qualified. Some of the players who qualified to the November face-off, because even if you qualify from the track qualifiers, it doesn't mean that you're going to Stockholm automatically. There will be one more level that you have to win in order to go to the final. And with me today, fantastic guests. I won't be commenting on my own. So both very experienced players, multiple champions in different formats, and in general, great friends of Polytopia and all the tribes. Tolbby and Innofunni. Welcome to the stream. Hi, guys.
Hi, it's good to make it.
So are you excited about the World Championships? Are you following the results? Tell me.
I'm excited. I'm super happy to be seeing a lot of familiar faces that I personally follow. One of them is a big favorite of mine, actually. So I'm very interested in seeing how these results are going to be turning up.
You're not playing, not participating.
Unfortunately, I don't have the time to, no.
Okay, I know.
People who are serious about these games are serious about them. We'll see them like go in those VC Saturday, Sunday, like 12 hours. Just get out like the practice, and I'm like, wow, you guys are dedicated. So it's very fun just watching those guys play their games and then looking at some of the cool replays. Which I gotta admit, I cheated, pre-screened. I've seen these replays; they are all very good. Excited to get into them. The World Championship, the whole cycle is really exciting. One thing I believe, if you don't call it, it doesn't count for anything. So I want to see Ramdingler go all the way. I do want to see Ramdingler go all the way.
Okay, so who's your favorite, Tolbby?
Mine actually.
Anyone that already qualified, or do you have some candidates that haven't qualified yet?
Honestly, my favorite has already qualified, so
okay,
we'll be able to see them in a little bit. Hopefully.
Okay. You're very mysterious. You don't tell the name. Okay.
I don't want to give away any spoilers.
Okay. So what about you? I know why aren't you competing? Yeah, like some would say that you are like the best of the best. So like maybe you don't want to spoil the game for others.
Of course. No, I was given permission to say this.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing, or at least everything goes as it should, commentating live the World Championships in Sweden.
Okay.
Instead.
Congrats. Okay, I'll do something.
Yeah.
Yes, some applause for I know. Yeah, so congrats. So you're going to Stockholm, right? And you'll be commenting live the finals.
Yes, that's in December, which isn't too far away from us. So.
Okay, exciting. Are you excited?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okie doke. So yeah, let's not keep our audience waiting. What we'll be reviewing today is Kickoo and Zebasi games. The players that won the qualifiers are Ramdingler and Justeeni. So after the reviews, we'll have a bit of a surprise for our beautiful audience. Hopefully everything works out from the technical side. So guys, the stage is yours. Yeah, let's watch the games.
Alrighty. So immediately to begin off with, this is going to be a Kickoo mirror match on the archipelago on a small map size. So I'm not super familiar with the best opening strategies for Archipelago, but they do happen to have some guaranteed suburbs. So, do you got any tips that could be useful on Archipelago maps?
Oh yeah, you need those units to grab those suburbs, and then you're going to be dumping everything in the water. The person gets that navy up first, generally going to be winning. I don't know how much detail I can go into here because, again, spoiled pre-screened. Did a little bit of cheating, but I guess we just watch the game and see how they take it.
I know, sorry to interrupt you, but there's some something is wrong with your audio. There's some disruption.
All right, so we're just going to take a quick look at the opening for both players on the map. So on the green side, we have Batterballs, who's going to be opening with only 2 fish at their starting capital, whereas Ramdingler, Eno's favored to win, or actually being able to open up with an amazing 5. So right out of the gates, immediately has access to a level 3 capital. And usually those sort of leads are very easy to snowball out and ahead. And without further ado, unless there's anything else we should be waiting on, we're going to go ahead and get started and let the players be taking their turns. Green player, of course, opening up with a workshop. So no early scouts for either of these two. And immediately, right over here, we're having a line being drawn between the two players. And unfortunately, Ramdingler fails to get the village first due to the first turn advantage.
Yeah, there's like a sentence usually, just like, that should be my village. It's right next to my capital. Why is he on it? There's just nothing he's going to be able to do about that immediately.
Absolutely. This is one of the suburbs that I was mentioning about, immediately adjacent to the capital for the green player. And the next one's going to be somewhere over here on the eastern side, whereas Ramdingler actually needs to be traveling backwards in order to find one of 2 potential locations for their starting suburbs to be on safely in the back.
Yeah, and all those water tiles, I mean, it does get in low for the cap. Let's explore faster. A bit of a...
Unfortunately,
you're breaking up. I know.
At the current moment, so I'm going to try to follow up with what I believe he was saying. Essentially, now that that the village was found out over here, this warrior either has a chance to explore further to the east and find another village, or is going to have to be spending a lot of time backtracking in order to get onto the water. Thanks to the extra stars, we have a very early raft for Ramdingler, allowing him to get onto the water. And as Eno was saying earlier, an early lead on the water can usually lead to a very well-defined victory. So what's going to be more important? Early access on the water, or is it going to be an early navy? We're going to be finding out. First scout coming out from green, able to find Ramdingler's capital, and immediately looks like Ramdingler might be able to snipe. Oh, nope, never mind. So right over here, quick strategic standpoint. Usually you don't want to be attacking units out in the open like so, but by making this attack right over here, green is forcing pink away. So Ramdingler is not able to capture this village. He's got the supports in order to cancel that out. So a very good early game play by green, immediately setting Ramdingler behind. Eno, do we got you back here so we can discuss more about it?
Maybe, I hope so.
Hey,
yeah, it's immediately what you're looking at in this kind of thing. Like, Ramdingler says, okay, maybe they've cut me off for my second village, but there's at least this little strait out here, and I see the shoreline continues into the fog. I'll just pick up that village over there, and that'll be my second city. But this green player says, no, you have no second city anywhere. It's over for you. You gotta resign now. But Ramdingler, he's a fighter, so... There we go. Finally gets that second city.
And with that, we immediately have a quick check choice of sailing for Ramdingler, allowing him to pick up an early ruin that is going to be completely uncontested. on these ruins out over here. Unfortunately, there's no Aquarions. There's not going to be any sunken cities. But what are you looking for in a situation like this,
I mean, really, like, zoom out a bit. Like, you see that Ramdingler's got his 3 villages, and his opponent's going to have the 4 villages. So it's a little asymmetrical, not quite balanced, but Ramdingler's got to take advantage of what he has, which is he's on the water a little bit earlier. He's got his units out there. If he can turn those units into some kind of aggressive attack, take a city from his opponent, or out-expand him, go rush out to the rest of the map, some combination of the two, hopefully. Upgrade that other city, level 3. He's just trying to be doing anything, but he's got to be the one who's active here. His opponent can kind of sit down on the position, just say, I've got more than you right now, like, get my giant up, prepare for an endgame where he's going to be advantaged in. Ramdingler's got to be the one who's active here. So all onus is on him to make something happen.
So unfortunately, being behind in a city for a longer period of time, immediately losing a unit for free, looks like Ramdingler is going to be able to take the most advantage out of this. Getting a greedy workshop. Trying to make the most out of an early game economy. And pop ruins right over here for green, immediately getting him just 4 pops away from his first giant.
Boom. Ram responds with that star ruin. So they both
that is a
pretty
very powerful opener right there. And immediately we now have a battle between scouts. Ramdingler expanding outwards.
This is an important move to make if you are the green player, to make that scout, because you want to get room around his capital. You don't want him to be free to use all of that. So you get your own scout, and you just take out all those warriors that are coming in. But yeah, what we were talking about with like Ramdingler, what his plan is. See how he picks up these villages out on the water faster than his opponent. Suddenly he's turned it around. He actually has the lead in cities just because he was able to pick up this one. The other Green Kickoo was able to pick up that island city, be a little more symmetrical, but already small advantages that Ram's picking up here just by taking advantage of being on the water sooner.
Yep, so we have this village contested all the way over here on the east. One hidden far, far away that should be greens for free. And it looks like Ramdingler might be able to pick up an additional village, guaranteeing them the production advantage. That being said, with an early economy and now production advantage, Ramdingler went from a really bad spot, getting on the water really early, and is being able to turn it around with very careful trades. Unfortunately, though, with all this being said, his capital is currently exposed. He's not able, because of this raft right over here, he's not able to just train warriors in his capital anymore. So his production's actually being cut off just a little bit due to the threat of potential rammers. And even more scouts in order to shut off his water access.
Yeah, so he's kind of stabilized a bit, but he needs to help himself defend now. Kind of weird how the position flipped out.
19, 20 stars, 21 stars a turn, and gets the first giant. Immediately, more level 3 cities, places the monument, another level 3, ending it at 22 stars a turn. His economy is insane already here by turn 10 on an archipelago map.
And very similar. Fires back with his own giant.
Rammer!
Yeah,
immediately,
Ramdingler.
Ramdingler doing what his name describes, throwing out the rammers at his opponents. And now at this point, Green, doing a border expand, is currently on the back pedal, loses the first city right over here, and that's about to give him the network monument. First giant is already within reach, able to apply a lot of pressure. So this city right over here, we're going to go ahead and give that a quick pause. Picking up navigation to get a whole bunch of starfish and threatening a whole bunch of bombers. This is 12 turns in.
They're able to spin it around so fast. You know, maybe a little over-aggressive, overzealous from his opponent, and he was able to just, no, you don't have an attack here, and show him that you can't play like that.
So we're going to be bringing it to turn 13 at this point where a lot of the mid-game is already been happening. And we could very clearly see that green is only stuck to a quarter of the map now. Ramdingler has completely cut him off and is now about to have a 6-4, 7-4, potentially 8-4 city game. What are you looking for?
Well, the tactics aren't looking good either here. Like, how do you defend this middle city from the giant? You're going to put your own there, which, you know, completely sensible. The only problem is just I'm seeing in the water, and we just saw him pick up nav, so maybe he's going to do some bomber shenanigans. Who knows? Does Ram feel like he can siege the city without the threat of his opponent maybe giant pushing? Probably not likely to see Justeeni, but...
One key little point I want to bring up is Ramdingler has been very greedy when it comes to his economy and leveling up his cities. He hasn't picked up a single and ends up Houdining his own unit just to rush out a giant even faster. I don't know if that was a misplay, as he did have the economy for another port.
Another port to save a 4-health warrior. Just buy some more.
Okay, some rammers from the green.
Green trying to contest for this ruin over here all the way on the east. Ramdingler's going to say, no, we're not allowed to have any of that. I'm sieging your city, and we're throwing out a giant for another one. His economy's at the point he's just pumping out warriors everywhere and only has 5 single techs on this entire tech tree. Comparing that to, well, 5 techs also coming from green, just organization minus the navigation. Getting the pops in order to do a giant push, saving his city for yet another turn.
It was like a saved it, but for how long situation. The big thing still, that naval dominance, if he has all the water units, you have none of the water units. It's got a little hope to kind of recover the position from here.
It's going to be a massive uphill battle, especially since the bomber has already come out for Ramdingler, able to apply so much pressure, one step in the wrong direction, and that bomber's able to instill a bunch of pressure. And you're just hearing upgrade after upgrade after upgrade. More and more Navy units are coming out of Ramdingler's just out of the production, out of the works. So many rammers, so many scouts.
And another star ruin.
Stars. Okay. Even more economy.
And that Juggernaut that just got onto the water has already been melted down to 5 health. Squeezing out defenders, trying to get a stronger military through having the better units. But at this point, I don't know if numbers are going to make... The strength is going to make a difference. And there it is. Ramdingler pulling out the win in the first game.
It was a really tough start, just not finding villages ever, but spun it around immediately. Well played, Ramdingler.
That one was
a little trolling at the end of the parks.
So a quick little review for what the potential play of the game on that one definitely was, is recognizing that this is not the suburb here for Ramdingler. And even though green played this very well, defending the other suburb and even getting an explorer out to figure out everything that's going on, But at this point, he already sees most of what's already going on. Was that explorer necessarily worth it when you're about to be getting your own scouts?
It's really a question of where the stars are going, because you have a position for the green player here where they can play it. Like, they just need to take those villages over to the east, pick up their own giants. But they really don't have as a big attack onto Ramdingler's capital. It's too well defended. It's too far. Like whereas the water is versus the land is a little awkward to maneuver scouts through in a way that like actually threatens Ram. He wants to gain space around the capital, but he can't really afford it while he also tries to expand out to the east. So he goes for this play where he gains space around the capital, getting the scout and shooting down units. But it's ultimately too expensive for him. Ramdingler is able to defend there easily, or at least without too much trouble that we saw, and then just pick up the villages over in the east to get a convincing win in this game. At least that's how I view the arc of it. What do you think, Tolbby?
I actually full-heartedly agree with pretty much everything said right there. Spending a lot in order to get vision, spending a lot on military, and didn't have the proper economy in order to come back when Ramdingler was able to stabilize with a more productive economic start. If we were able to get some more units here into the east from green, I think we would have seen an entirely different game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of warrior spam, but why are your cities on level 1 when they both have 2 fish?
But we also have to mention that, Ramdingler's position was much more favorable because he was able to connect all his cities with ports and, more access to the map overall, I would say.
Overall, an amazing game, even showing that if you lose your first unit and still don't have too much to gain from it, proper play and proper judgment of your current position, keeping a calm mind, you can turn any sort of game around.
Yep. Okay, shall we move on to the next game?
Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and get the next one loaded on up. Give me a moment. Already here.
There you go. Ramdingler versus Ankh.
Kickoo, another very popular name in the Polytopia community. So we absolutely know that both these players aren't holding back. They're both no joke, and they really know what they're doing. Right over here, we have Kickoo as the green player with the first turn advantage, and Ramdingler once again going second as the blue all the way on the west. Nothing necessarily to call out about any of these starting stars. We got 3 fish over here, followed by the 2 over here for Ramdingler, but it does make it easier for Kickoo to get an early level 3 city by either finding the lighthouse or just connecting one of his first cities. So this is really going to come down to proper early game unit management.
I don't want to say too much about this game. Very spoiled, of course. But that mountain's a little annoying for Kickoo to navigate. Ramdingler's got that lighthouse right away. Gotta see how he makes, or if he makes use of that. Right in the water. Yeah, Kickoo places this a backwards-facing port. Wanting to get some expansion going into the north quickly, it looks like.
Ramdingler this time opting for a scout, finding his opponent and getting that early 5 extra stars. Not using it right away. Oh, and the scout barely... And he finds him!
Yes.
Able to get that vision. I need a hotkey for that. Able to get that early vision, so we're going to go ahead and switch to what both players are seeing. Ramdingler sees 2 of the villages right out of the gates and is able to quickly deduce that his opponent, thanks to this ruin being here, more than likely has already expanded to the north.
Absolutely.
Kickoo getting riding in that ruins. Now, riding can be interesting on this map, allowing some interesting rider roads plays, even though it's archipelago. How often do you find yourself using riders on an archipelago map?
If I'm playing archipelago, usually with Aquarion, so all the time. No, but with the human tribes, they're definitely an interesting choice. Like, you'd love to go scouts early, but these players are anything but ordinary.
And right over here, Ramdingler opts to go ahead and pass up the ruins for now. Honestly, probably the best play that could be made for what good is a swordsman if your opponent is able to just start pumping out more units, or even worse off, get a scout off and worsen your economy whenever it comes down to fighting for that village. So a very interesting trade right there.
And he's maybe even hoping that QQ just wouldn't have the stars to do anything back. Looking at him, he saw that he was on that mountain, bot climbing for that ruin, and he was 2 stars away from just not being able to get the scout necessary to kick Ram off the village.
And he gets the lighthouse.
Yeah.
The Western Lighthouse has been acquired.
That's the lighthouse that's going to be difficult for him in the future.
And there it is. There's the roads tech that I was mentioning about. So opting for a potential road play in order to fight for the ruin.
And Rims cannot be happy to see that.
Green is
Steps
just
right
one
back
lighthouse away.
As soon as he picks up that South Lighthouse, some big things coming out.
Navigation.
And then a nav ruin. Absolutely huge.
One of the best things you could see on any sort of aquatic map. Able to get 10 free stars at any given time if you're able to find some starfish ruins. And of course, Archipelago is absolutely littered with them.
Yeah, it feels like this map has, a little shy on the giving out the starfish. Like only 5 total. A little more in the last one, but Ram's got 3 of them easily on his side. And he's taking advantage of that to get this bomber right away. Veteran Sword heading to the village. Like chaos on the map. Yuki's got this giant, but it's getting a little difficult for him to just maneuver rafts around. He doesn't have all that many stars in the water. He's been going on these Rider Roads plays, trying to take advantage of the land. Maybe some bridges in the future.
Such an amazing position that we're actually currently in on this map. So we have this swordsman able to apply some pressure onto these ruins right here. We actually have another veteran swordsman along with this raft ready to apply even more pressure all the way to this eastern city in the southern corner of the map. And unfortunately, this bomber is just completely locking down one of Green's villages here on the front side. It is going to be very much an uphill battle in order for Green to get it even sort of kind of position on this map. He's got to build up a force in the back without losing too much of the front.
Yeah, this is just... Okay, good.
We got the numbers advantage actually already going on for Ramdingler as well. So many units are currently on the water with even more underway. Sure, there's no giant.
Yeah, if you look at like the traditional markers of success, like, Green player Purq, he's got more villages. He was the first one to get the giant. But Ram's just, kind of destroying him, it looks like, just with everything he's got going on. Like, he's the one who's making advantages, pushing for advantage in the middle, in that southern village, with all of the units that he has. It's a hard day to be a PQ.
Actually, even looking at it further and further on the map, even though this is taking up the port for Ramdingler, this is almost the perfect spot for this bomber to be able to lock down 2 of these villages, but it's near impossible for any form of units to make any sort of progress to even just do a little bit of damage. That bomber
Absolutely.
is going to get
Yeah,
so
very
much
difficult.
value.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just got to concede some space. Like, no unit trained on that city over in the west. We're just looking at it like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen in the south?
Another level up for more pops.
Yeah, just everywhere. He can apply pressure, he's going for it. And the scout's defending for right now, but let's say next turn that veteran swordsman scout goes ahead and sieges. That's PQ's plan for defense. Seems like he's got the best attack right there right now. But not too interested. Just gonna go for a rammer right away.
Rammer!
His favorite, perhaps.
Boom,
he gives up the veteran swordsman, but oh, not
Yeah, giant.
enough.
Yeah.
Save those 2 monuments because he knew that was South City was his most vulnerable. So he takes out not only the veteran swordsman scout, but also there's not a second siege coming after this. At least not immediately. Can position these juggernauts, help them out in the defense. And that's the other benefit of his position, just having the 5 cities against 4. PQ needs to defend and then gather up his counterattack right now. He can do that. He can make something happen, but first he's got to live. Now a lot of splash damage, but not much splash damage coming from a 4 health Juggernaut. Does he go ahead and... Yeah, does some splash. Hits a lot of units, but not a lot. And these bombers just on a tear. Lands a giant now. Yeah, with the Rammer Siege 2. Is dealing with all of these supporting units. The Juggernaut's not going to be enough on its own. So PQ has to resign again. Disadvantaged cities, but it goes ahead. These kind of tactical plays that he's able to pull out, recognizing that there's a weakness on this unclaimed village. There's a weakness in this middle city. There's a weakness in the south. And just taking advantage of all of it, applying pressure everywhere until eventually PQ breaks. Inspiring stuff from Ramdingler. That's why he's the Kickoo champion.
Yeah, PQ got Ramdingled. Yeah, but this was a lot much, like a even game. So, yeah. So your thoughts, gentlemen? What could have been done differently? What went wrong for PQ?
It's actually really hard to say what sort of improvements PQ could have made. Once bombers start getting on the map, you have to be able to get to those bombers. But that positioning from Ramdingler was... It's really hard to put it into words, but it was just spectacular. It's impossible for PQ to have gotten any units even close enough to hit the 1 bomber that Ramdingler had onto the map. Right over here, it's too far because you have to be traveling at least 1, 2, 3 spaces away, or just even 1, 2, 3 spaces away. Which at that point, he had units already holding the units off, so that bomber was completely untouchable.
You think about like any other kinds of strategic resources to reach that, and you start thinking about ridiculous things like maybe he's going to start roading in archers on those land tiles. This is just never going to happen. I do think maybe the Rider roads, not that he chose riding from the ruin, the roads after it were interesting. Trying to get Ram off that ruin and fight for that central city where he's got access to it on land. But I don't think it ended up working out for him nearly as well as he'd have liked. Maybe skipping roads, seeding the ruin to Ram in the first place, and trying to get more stars in the water before the...
What about defenders making his units more tanky? Would that work?
Yeah. Anything like those techs getting into the water help him out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like getting grammars sooner, getting scouts, getting bulkier units with defenders. He's got a lot of tier 2 techs. Because, I mean, as you see in the game, he does go after this Rhodes play to keep Ram off the ruin, but I don't really think it was worth all that much.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he placed the road southwest, maybe hoping to connect this village by land. I'm not sure. But he ends up needing west of it. Because, combine those two. So, like, a few like misplays with the roads, not spending enough on his navy. It is still a difficult position for him to get his navy active, just with where the land is. You want your land like behind you mostly. If the land in front of you is just obstructing your ships and paths that they have to access your opponent, whereas your opponent doesn't really have any of those kinds of things to deal with. So he did a lot of really good plays, but Ram was able to just show off why. Like, he knows how the boats work, basically. He knows the boats. Gotta give him the game.
Yep. So anything else that you would like to add?
Actually, yes. I mean, I'm going to get called out for this
Go
maybe
ahead,
the wrong
Tolbby.
play anyways, but we did have one other potential play here on turn 12.
Okay. Tell us.
And that is definitely, you build a bridge.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You build the
Bridges.
bridge.
Yep.
So that also allows you to have riders apply pressure to units all the way over here, which is the whole reason why Ramdingler was able to get such a safe bomber right over there. And I don't think that, I think that if we are able to start getting some bridges and start getting some riders to start applying pressure over here, it also are able to somewhat defend. The downside is you usually are giving up pressure on the water, but with this giant right here, this actually might have been the one turn to start getting a bridge and consider humoring the idea of maybe going more land focused. Land is typically a lot cheaper than Navy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I saw like a few games when some pro players were able to win against Navy with riders. So I absolutely agree that PQ missed that opportunity, because it's much cheaper to actually fend off some of the Navy here than like investing in those scouts or rammers, which are quite expensive. And PQ did not have the economy to keep up.
Yep. Actually, it looks like he's 1 star short.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, just elaborating on the idea. The second you see the roads going off, you're like, hey, shouldn't he be going through the bridge on that tile, like trying to access it, like breaking with knights? Then maybe you have to acknowledge that the South City is too weak, that I'm going to play more for the central city. Getting rid of the bomber around there. I'm going to use my 2 monuments to get a giant in that Vanon, like central city, instead of for the giant push down south. And then just push through that bridge and try to like break Ramdingler there, like a 5 city on 5 city game, where I break through the land connections way cheaper. But it's an interesting idea for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's a good moment to invite one more guest. So this is our surprise for you.
Drum roll, please.
Yep. Hello, Ramdingler.
Hey, hello. First of all, I would like to thank Innofunni for commentating. That means he will not be beating me in the first championship. And thank you for having me here.
Yeah, so tell us about your qualifiers a bit. By the way, if you'd like to see how Ramdingler did in his final against Viking the Cat, I shared a link in the comments. This is the highlights of those games. So you won't see the whole games, but at least you'll have a glimpse of it. Yeah. So Ram, tell us. How did the qualifiers go? How did you feel in the final?
I was very excited to go into finals. The first game obviously was not as good for me. I didn't have capped water access, so I had to go for mat. The second game I got very lucky. The Midtjylland said, all right, Ram, you're going to Sweden. So I won the second game, and then the third game was a land battle on lakes. It was very scary at the start with archer spam, but then I was able to consolidate and win with a knight chain.
And before the final, do you remember any games that were difficult?
I remember against Krisk, like when he went for construction. He had unlucky spawn. He didn't have cap water access. To be fair, I had it, so I went for water. He went for the greedy start with construction, markets, and mind benders. And I was like, no way this strat works, because he obviously had better economy, but he was down on cities. So I was like, okay, if I just consolidate, I'll win. And then the second game also, I just also went for water and was able to win from there using scouts and juggernauts pressuring from water and going to finals.
And why Kickoo actually? Was it your plan all the way to qualify for Kickoo?
No, it wasn't. So I was actually practicing with lakes, experimenting what tribes are the best, like Zebasi. Obviously has the earliest markets with now the construction nerf, like in Burn Forest for 3. Imperius is obviously slightly better than Kickoo on lakes if they have shared suburbs, because they can go into riding. Kickoo needs to upgrade their C2, C3, usually with another tech, so that gives them that tempo disadvantage against Imperius. But the first couple of games were played on continents, and then and obviously lakes. And then after that, I was like, Kickoo is actually pretty good on lakes. If I'm not sharing suburbs with my opponent, because Matt is very strong. Kickoo has a lot of forest, so I can obviously go for mathematics and then catapults to pin the ports, or I can go just for water and win from there. So it's a very versatile tribe. It has a ton of resources. One of the one of the tribes with highest resource score in the game. And it's a turn 0 tribe. So I went with it. Also, as I said before, I was experimenting with it on lakes, and turns out when there's a big lake in the middle, Kickoo wins against Imperius and Zebasi.
Okay, good to know. Pro tip from Ramdingler, anyone who is listening, try to apply it. So maybe you guys have some questions to Ramdingler before I let him go. I know, Tolbby.
We're gonna let him go. I want to be on the whole stream now. No, okay. I respect your time, Ramdingler. You gotta go. You're a busy guy. Well, actually, I think we should plug. Bro's got a YouTube channel. You can tell he's busy if you look at the uploads.
Yes,
go check him out.
Yep.
A lot of genius stuff there.
Definitely.
But I got you on here for one thing, Ramdingler. This game specifically, we were talking about an interesting idea for PewQ. If he was going into roads anyways, off the ruin, a bridge. Do you see any potential in a bridge? Then maybe like double money for Giant around that central city.
Yes, that's why I was going with the warrior there to stop to zone control his future scouts and rammers, so he couldn't reach my bomber. I was very hesitant to get a bomber there, but once I got the warrior there, I was like, wait, this bomber is actually untouchable, and I'm not gonna allow him to touch it, and it's gonna get infinite value because he cannot deal with it. It is expensive, but I don't have a giant. The giant is very expensive. The bomber to pin the city is much more valuable, and then if I pin the center city, the south city will also be isolated, very hard to protect. That was my thinking. If we went for the bridge, I knew I was also gonna win, because then he would be overextending on land. I would have went just. I would know then that he would not be spending as much stars on water, so I would push him on water even more. And probably if we went with bridges, like even harder, because there was only the one bridge page, if I remember, I would have went for defenders to have a defender there, and then he would need 4 riders to kill it
So no hope for QQ.
Yeah, and I also had that wet storm, and I also placed the wet storm in there to just neutralize the threat of a breach.
Mm. So you see, Tolbby, no, there was no hope.
I'll always like to play with the ideas and experiments, so
yeah,
I never throw those ideas out.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Like, so Ram obviously had some already some answers to this bridge play, but this game would have looked differently if there was this bridge, probably.
Yep.
Okay, Ram, thank you so much for joining the stream. Good luck in the face-off in November, and yeah, we hope to see you in the finals in Stockholm.
I hope to see me too in this finals.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Take care. Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this was the Kickoo, and now we can move on to Zebasi with another giant of Polytopia, Justeeni. So let's see his games.
There we go. So
who do we have here?
Alrighty, so immediately turning on the shared fog. Sorry. So we have Justeeni getting the first turn advantage as the orange Zebasi versus KA6 Anos.
No, I think it's Cabanos.
Cabanos.
Yeah.
And again, spoilers pre-screened. I mean, this is true of all the games. Like, I don't have to keep saying it, but absolutely crazy game. Actually, Justeeni's in chat right now. He remembers this one. I guess I can't say anything more about that.
I don't think we can say too much more about that, or else we're going to spoil it. So without spoiling it, why don't we show it to everybody that's going on? So we actually got an equal economic opening between both of the players, immediately opening up with their turn 0 upgrade into a farm, and both opting to go with the more economic, more expansionist route of warrior opening instead of...
Is this lakes or continents?
This should be lakes.
Lakes, yeah. Okay.
So again, having suburbs right away. We got our 2 right over here. 1, 2, and we're looking. Failed to see one here, so we know that our second suburb is going to be over here in the western side for Justeeni. Going with a scout in order to try to find his opponent, figure out should he be going more economic or start applying the pressure early. And finds nothing. So what are you thinking? Are you picking up climbing for this ruin? And it's climbing for the ruin.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with Justeeni at all, you see, wait, he's buying climbing with Zebasi? He just got a star ruin? Is the philosophy rush imminent? No!
Justeeni very much well known for his philosophy rush. I love watching his videos, and he's my favorite to try to win, so... Immediate construction.
From Cabanos, yeah. Turn 6 very early.
Yeah, both players fairly isolated, so I don't have to spend too much on units for military purposes. Just get those cities upgraded fast as possible.
Yeah, we haven't seen any action yet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then riding, which here's the interesting bit: wall too. I see riding immediately think, yeah, he's going to go in for markets, the road's set up. He's going for the late game because he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Why a wall there?
Yeah, I see the wall and I'm thinking, okay, he's playing for late game, right? Like, he's just trying to, he looks at this map, he sees, okay, he's in the south. He has this tiny, land access, not many villages compared to me, and
okay.
I don't think it's too much of a spoiler at this point to say, yeah, Cabanos keeps on just 3 villages for most of this game. Justeeni sees I've got all of these villages, the whole game going for me. There's one route for him to attack, and that's on the water. So if I just drop a wall on the city, cut off his one attack, and I just have this, beautiful position with all the cities in the world to defend from, and then just out-eco him, I should be able to win any kind of endgame like that.
Okay. Makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. So would you be throwing up a wall onto the city on the eastern side to follow the same similar kind of logic?
I think a wall there makes perfect sense, yeah. And the ruins are tempting him. They're giving him meditation too, so the philosophy... I mean, not much of a rush at this point, but...
Okay, trade.
Immediately rushes out trade, trying to go with a much stronger economic start, realizing they're far away, going, all right, well, since I can't get to you, I might as well get a very strong economic lead. Makes perfect sense. A city expansion in the right spot, especially from right over here. Get a market right over here where this forest is. And you've already got a maxed out economic city right there.
You set up the windmill spot beautifully. I mean, the trade spot beautifully with all those windmills surrounding it.
Yeah, but what I see here, like Cabanos doesn't have really great market spots. Yeah, there's just one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Not only is that one trapped at level 3, but he only has 3 markets total. He only has 3 cities.
Yeah.
Justeeni's markets should be going crazy here.
So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3. Would you be leveling up Momoko in order to expand just to get more water access? That is actually a real thought I would be having here.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel bad to try to pick up that kind of order there, but it also feels like how much purpose is there? Like, you get more places to train bombers from, for sure. If you can afford the same number of giants there, you've got a bunch of stars. So hard. We gotta see it. And he wants population growth. He doesn't want to spend the extra stars for this giant. He wants to get it out sooner. So he's gonna lack a few tiles that he could put rafts to. Lack a few places to get ports on. But
okay, so it's 7 against 3.
Yeah,
and there it is.
A lot
gonna
of
be able to
explorers from Justeeni. But he gets that Eye God.
Able to get the Eye of God. So at this point, it comes down to, is he going to be able to get enough naval units onto the water? Because as we all know, if you rule the sea, that typically wins you the game. Able to zone out right over here on the map. If we look at it, it could be zoned out typically as far. Oh goodness, it goes even further. All the way over here onto the map is water access blocked off. So if the black player Kabano is able to get water access and secure it, he can actually lock off most of the cities on this map.
Yeah, and this is a common or reoccurring idea you'll see in Lake's game. One player, generally, if you can win on land, you want to win on land. It's faster, easier. It's only when you're forced to go into the water that you end up going into the water. But your opponent has to respect that in a situation like this. Justeeni's options for land stuff are not the best. He's not going to be launching an attack along the edge, maybe with cloaks. But you'll see this kind of thing where Covenus has a almost undisputed water access, the way he's putting these juggernauts in. They're doing work for him, setting up all these other units for him.
Right over here, immediately want to bring to the attention that we've got 2 units trained here in the south. We've got both a knight able to apply land pressure and a cloak. Unfortunately, Justeeni has absolute perfect vision of the map, and it's not going to be any surprise. The real question is where's that cloak going to go?
That border growth in the face of the cloak is very bold. It's kind of like a man who just doesn't care. Does not see the potential of these cloaks coming to actually ever reach him. He's just going to get his riders scout him out.
Some bombers. I was wondering if Cabanos is going to get them.
Yeah, we've got two bombers.
Immediately, he's going to go after that unwalled city. Huge attack. As you were saying.
I think Justeeni realizes that he's the one that has the advantage due to having more than twice the amount of cities. So as long as he places cards right, he should be able to win in the end. The biggest issue is will Cabanos be able to get too much of a Navy advantage?
And something interesting. Remember that market spot we saw he'd put out between all three of his windmills? Where are the markets?
No markets.
No markets, no philosophy. I don't know if this is the same Justeeni that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing everything for the end game, right? But, the end game's getting closer, and, he's really got to get his stars up, but he's got to spend everything just to defend, especially that East City. He just doesn't want it to collapse. And if these bombers...
Yeah, he's getting blasted.
Yeah. It's really difficult for him to make anything happen here.
And there it is, the first of many.
Border Grove was good at cutting off that night. You're not going to see any roads for that forest anymore. But new problem, the cloak that also came along the same time. And yeah, it's just with these markets and just low city count, these techs aren't costing anything for Cabanos here. Able to pick up aquatism, it seems like endless bombers. And Justeeni's kind of, I don't know if I should say floundering about, but
he's going to have to relinquish the city on the east.
Yeah, he's giving up the city in the east. He is setting up the markets now. 46 stars per turn. He started with just under 40. But Cabanos is closing that gap with the capture of the East City, and still has kind of undisputed water access. Another one of Justeeni's porting cities gone. He's only got these couple ports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, around his capital. The other one's just in range of the bombers.
Also, the Knights applying pressure, making it to where even a whole bunch of riders are in danger, and immediately does a giant push. That's only going to last a little bit thanks to the pressure of all of these bombers. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the attacks from 4 bombers a turn. As we were talking about, water access is actually now going to start being the enemy of Justeeni. He's got to find some other way in order to make some sort of combat, especially since he's had to relinquish one of his cities over to Mabano.
Yeah, and boom, another cloak.
Another cloak with another one chained up behind.
In this. And Justeeni taking that border growth over there, it felt great to block those knights, but it's got some problems now.
Yeah. It's going archers.
Ba-ba-da-bop. 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 That's 4. Ba-ba-da-bop. That's 5. And secures the kill.
There we go. Philosophy Rush. Only turn 24.
The turn 24 Philosophy Rush. We've got
I don't know how he recovered from that. It's like it looks very bad.
I don't think there's a chance to recover, but if anybody can do it, I know it's Justeeni. That's why I'm actually rooting for him. Getting another giant threatening another city. The Mindbender takes the first of many defenders. Riders zooming on forward thanks to the road access that they all have got going. Kills a knight and is able to detect. So we went from here, no unit was observed, so we know it's not here, but we've still got another 4 potential spaces that cloak could be. And if we know our opponent, it's probably going to be one of these 2 over here, so we can land another cloak on the following turn. This actually makes it a lot easier for Justeeni to narrow where that cloak may be coming from.
Yeah. And the sad part is all those riders have already moved. There's no hope for it. Another cloak's going to be coming in.
Sapping that economy. That really, really hurts. That city built up only for the opponent's benefit.
Yeah, and here's the big thing. Both philosophy now.
Both
that
players.
giant. Big problem, right?
Oh, it's blocked off.
Yeah.
There's no more access.
Houdini.
Yep, save that monument. Save that Grim Bazaar. All these turns. Big Houdini.
That was a massive play. And at this point, Justeeni is going to be able to clean up again another batch and is going to be able to kill off. Oh, no, it lives just barely. That bomber is in no shape to continue its fighting.
Yeah, the problem with the Houdini is that you've just surrounded your giant when it is getting bombered.
Luckily, the city gets to last for another turn, but we have even more cloaks coming out of the eastern city, threatening to apply extra pressure onto the capital. So now we're going to have to follow up with 2 things. A good slew of riders, or potentially a knight to get a chain of his own. Unfortunately, I don't think we're nowhere near chivalry, so it would take the entire turn's economy just to even humor the idea of getting his own knights.
Yeah, Justeeni's bomber is getting killed, yeah.
It's an interesting idea there of the Mindbenders to try to heal the rider chains, but the problem for Justeeni is he just did not have enough riders. He's just not able to train enough of them. He needs to get at least like 1 knight to help deal with the cloak chains. And just not having knights for as long as he was, able to avoid it. He's kind of in this tough position now.
But there's the chivalry.
Finally. Boom. Damage all those cloaks. These nice bombers in the back.
Luckily, chivalry's not dead as the research tech has just been picked up. So now both players able to throw out their knights after each other.
There's the problem. He was able to set up this Juggernaut, and there's no Houdini this time. There's no giant push, and he does not have the units to clear the siege.
Unfortunately,
the West is collapsing as well.
Okay, so win for Cavanos.
Yeah, Cavanos was able to turn that 3 city against 7 all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Yeah, impressive. Yeah,
a very impressive play from both players this game. Unfortunately, the water access was completely lost. Cavanos was able to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm very curious about Justeeni's way of thinking in this game, because usually when I'm watching his games on his channel, by the way, subscribe. It's like he's pulling very bad positions, and here he had like all the things he had to win, and he lost.
Yeah, this is a kind of common thing. It's like a little mental trap you get into, and it's common among like top Polytopia players. You'll see a position like this, and you kind of do some mental discounting, like, oh god, okay, I've got 7 cities, like what's the worst that could happen? Which is one thing, but the other bit of it is that you don't like look into the disadvantages that your position has. Because you're just like, it's like totally winning, right? And it is. But Cavanos had those markets set up immediately. He's going to get all like really big different. He gets his cloaks out, and it's no problem for him. Justeeni, on the other hand, does not budget for those techs, so he's a little later in getting up his markets. Way later than maybe he needed to have been. He's later in getting up his knights than he would have wanted to. He never gets up cloaks. He's later in getting up his bomb defense. Like, he's got all these problems because he's got all these cities, which, advantage, good for him. But he doesn't have the stars to get these techs that he needs to defend himself in these kind of positions now. It's really easy to discount those kinds of things, like, oh, my techs are going to cost more, but I'll just spend all my stars upgrading my cities right now. Cabanos has to spend less stars upgrading his cities because he has fewer cities to upgrade. It's crazy.
Yeah, simple math. Yeah. So anyway, it's not all rosy, as you see. Our qualifier champions did not win every game on their way to qualify. So let's see the next game. Hopefully this time Justeeni wins.
I actually wanted to bring up one last interesting thing is because we were bringing up that it's a 3-7 city game, but because of winning that naval access and locking everything off, it turned more, instead of a 3-7, it turned into a 5-5 city game, which was actually cutting off a lot of potential production that Justeeni should have been able to have.
Yep.
Alrighty, and we've got one more for y'all. Let me get this game loaded on up. Alrighty, this time we're playing Archipelago. We've got Justeeni Linguini versus Senior Evanoso.
Yeah. Evanso.
Evanso, man. He also frequently visits my stream. I'm sorry, Senior. I'm sorry I butchered your name. Senior Evanso.
Yeah. Very good player.
Absolutely.
Evanso, he's a chill guy, so I'm sure he won't mind.
So Archipelago right now, right?
I just lost a sub. Oh no.
Tough luck, yeah.
Oh my gosh, both players went for workshops on turn 0, and then here's a big difference. No warrior for Justeeni afterwards. He's got those 2 suburbs, but he's looking at that mountain like, that's a warrior doing. Wait.
So that is a very interesting point to bring up right over here, that instead of immediately getting that extra warrior out, he's saving his tech. Because here's the question. Where's that warrior go? The warrior has nowhere to go.
Yeah, so now it's a mystery why he gets on turn 3. Into the port? Who knows? But Avanso can't be too upset because big star ruin. Straight ahead, little fishing port. Walk around on land, explore some tiles for that raft.
No, plans out
south
climbing,
instead.
and is still not on the water yet.
And yeah, going after the borders.
A second ruin for Sir Evanso, immediately getting another veteran swordsman. And a veteran swordsman from Justeeni as well. And the first bridge enters play.
Big bridge. Justeeni does not want to go fishing and sailing here. He's looking at his cap water access. He's looking at where his boats would go. They're like cut off by land everywhere. Like, what's going on? So big bridges immediately. And he's going to start connecting his cities with bridge after bridge. This is not something you see every day. And we talked about this earlier. I was holding back the urge to spoil that we're going to see another game like this. But this is that bridge play that we wished, Pukey might have gone for. Of course, the map's a little different, but let's see how it may have worked out.
Absolutely budgeting for bridges instead of a navy, and is able to immediately start applying some potential pressure. Sorry, I
These
had to take a drink.
riders are just nasty. The way they just pick up these warrior kills. Shorelines finds another village over in the west.
Also, this has got to be absolutely just something you don't want to see, is just one land tile, a bridge, and another land tile all the way over here. That's just not something that you see in Polytopia. I mean, we can see with the coast, there's one over here, but how often do you just see just two land tiles with a random bridge on a spot just like that? Okay, there we go.
The swordsman's hopping out of the water. Not gonna go back and get upgraded into like some rammer anywhere. Just because where are the borders you're putting it in? And then it's gonna be blocked off by that other veteran swordsman that Justeeni has, most likely.
Bop.
Or Justeeni sees, hey, let me smack that not stiff. So also picking up that 5th village, and maybe things haven't been going the best for like the sailing stuff, but he's gonna have scouts, hopefully, and then like some rammers should be able to pick up some good kills on riders in the future. One shot them, like scouts behind. He's got the giant, Justeeni doesn't. So hey, we're both at 5 villages. I can work with this still. Very playable for both sides. So picking up that kill for rammer. Making sure he doesn't disembark the rammer, though. Sad for the stars. And boom,
Absolutely.
1 port in. Needs to get these upgrades. Is Justeeni thinking about getting... Is this only for upgrades? Is he hoping to get a lighthouse to upgrade his cap here? Save the 2 stars on that fish?
Oh, is
Lighthouse.
unable to get that
Luck.
lighthouse.
Or is he maybe thinking about getting a navy into the future, too? It's ambiguous right now. Everything's possible. Because look, if he saved those 2 stars, that's another giant in that middle city farm.
Yep. This is actually going to be a very balanced 5-5 city game. It's just we have a more of a land-focused strategy versus someone that immediately rushed to get onto the water.
There we go. Yeah, warriors in the ports. So he's going to be fighting him with rider roads and the navy. It's going to be expensive to pick up some of those techs. Maybe he's just getting them in scout rafts, rather, to advance them further forwards. Have to see.
Unfortunately, the capital was not able to expand the borders, so it is actually very much at danger of potential road play. But as we also mentioned, that a navy is very expensive because a proper navy also includes defenders, which is immediately being shown. And that's a free defender kill because it was a raft on the water.
And the riders take no prisoners. So we're seeing a lighthouse. We're seeing another port here. And does he get the giant right now? Or is he setting up? Yeah, he's going to get the giant right now. No Houdini trap. He respects Justeeni too much for that. Justeeni would likely just use a rider to bounce on into that city, take the stars without worrying about his giant going up in smoke. And there we go, sailing from Justeeni. He's going to be attacking doubly. Rider roads, landed stuff. Yeah, kind of sad to leave your rider on the bridge because that rammer does not disembark to pick up that kill. But does not matter because there is no saving this capital now. So Vansa's going to resign, and Justeeni picks up the win with those bridges on Archie. Navy unnecessary. What a guy.
The archipelago
Congrats,
bridge
Justeeni.
play. Sad to see that there's no philosophy, but hey, I am just as satisfied to see bridges being used on a water-filled map, even proving that just because more than half the map is filled with water doesn't mean you have to rush the water in order to win. Though we did see a couple scouts coming out from that, so y'all can tell me to, take back that opinion all y'all want. This was a wonderful game to see for the two, acknowledging way here in the early game, from Justeeni's point of view, that it was unnecessary to get an extra warrior, save the economy. And even going with climbing, and taking the big gamble, realizing that right over here, if we go ahead and turn off the shared fog and switch this over to Justeeni's point of view, with his opponent going this way and there's no resources here, there's very likely no village over here. So realizing the warrior needs to go over here, this would be the second suburb for Justeeni. And so that's where the climbing play comes into play right there. I love to see all of it play out right over there. Was there any plays that you really wanted to call out in this game in particular?
I mean, this is just like a beautiful showcase for shorelines because it's turn 5 and he's got riders, right? Even before he picked up climbing, he sees all those shorelines in that 5x5 grid, like vision that his capital has. He knows, like looking at where the water is, where he'd be putting ports around his capital, that there's like not hope. There's not a future in putting ports around his capital, getting a navy like that with all that land, all those land piles over there. It's really awkward to navigate. So he's already having the seeds for this idea of just making the bridges work. And oh my gosh, they work so beautifully in this game. Climbing bridges, archipelago, it's nonsense, but he makes it work.
It was so wonderful to see. I don't think there's anything else to cover on this game.
Yeah, and of those last 2 games, I don't know, maybe it's unsurprising, but one of them made it to Justeeni's channel, and it was this one. I don't know if it's there or if it'll be there. But yeah, no, beautiful sending the rider down south after that explorer. Some would be like upset with that explorer without having it. But Justeeni sees those shorelines and he's able to go ahead pick up the bridge. Not this turn because lack of stars, but turn 10, bridge get the rider over to the village in the west.
Alrighty. So I think the last thing that really could have only been done partially differently is how to handle defense of the capital. Now, this is a very terrifying state to be in. You've got a juggernaut, you've got a giant knocking on your doorstep, and you know there are riders in the background. Now, this is just a tricky space in general, but unfortunately, with what we're seeing here, just putting that defender onto the water was not the best decision at all, because Justeeni's just able to throw all these riders forward with the power of roads and bridges, just go over and get essentially a free kill. And when you're defending your capital like that, that is not a position that you want to be finding yourself in. Would have been a little bit better to have at least entertained the idea of moving the defender forward in order to at least get a couple of free hits on the opponent and weaken the aggressive attack before it got to too much momentum. Wonderfully played from both players. Alrighty, so with that, I was very much entertained by that. So we're going to go ahead and pass the microphone back on over to Gato. So Gato, thank you.
Yeah, so another surprise for our beautiful audience. We have Justeeni with us. Hi, Justeeni.
Hey. Everything working on my end?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So tell us, how did those qualifications go for you? We watched 2 of your games. Maybe tell us something about the finals. Again, if you'd like to see the highlights of the finals, the link is in the chat.
Yeah, so I think it was a really fun tournament. First and foremost, like, big shout out to just the Polytopia community in general for putting this kind of thing together. Seriously, it's amazing. But yeah, I will say it was not easy. Really big thing. I think this was actually kind of mentioned like in the first game. Mental game is very, very important with these, because like with that game that I lost, that I'm kind of glad you guys showed.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot of it there was just like, I was trying to play really safe. I see my spawn's amazing. That almost never happens, but like I can't possibly mess this up, right? Like I was 1-0 against Innofunni. Like I win this, I go to the finals, and I was just thinking about it too much. I'm like, don't screw up, just play as safe as possible. But that's the worst thing you can do, is play it as safe
psychology.
as possible. Because these players are merciless. If you play it too safe, you just sit there and do nothing, you will
you will lose. Doesn't matter how advantageous your position is. You always have to stay focused. You always have to be alert. You have to be ready for anything. You always have to try your best.
How did the final go for you? Because I know you won like 2-0 easily.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say easily, but yeah, I managed to 2-0 the first game. Really grindy, really long game. It was very fun. Lots of markets and stuff. And then the second game was like kind of in a different way, a grindy game. A very low eco game. Lots of stages. Right, I had a good position, but this time I actually focused, made sure I defended, kind of held on to things. Some really interesting games.
Was Zebasi your choice, or did you plan to qualify with some other tribe?
Yeah, I'd say like my top 3 choices were Imperius, Zebasi, and Luxador. So I'm very happy to get one of my top choices with this.
Okay, guys, do you have any questions to Justeeni? Maybe something about this Cabanos game?
Fauna's game was really interesting, and I mean a little shame. So, Justeeni, first question, and you can tell us, all the viewers, the beautiful viewers, your finals against Arvis, they're on your channel right now, yes?
They are on my channel.
Oh my gosh, so we can check those out on your channel if we wanted to. But I wanted to ask, specifically like how it felt, because like the Zebasi one, a lot of people wanted to qualify with Zebasi, yeah? You got Arvis in the finals, Senor Avanzo, Cavanos. These are not, easy players, and you're just going one after the other after the other. Like, what was kind of like the cumulative effect of like playing all these like really good players one after the other like that? How did it start to feel?
I mean, yeah, the tournament was it was a pretty long tournament too. It was like 8 hours. So like there was a lot of, mental fatigue, especially near the end. I could tell like everyone was kind of dealing with that, but also just, a lot of pressure. Like it really just helped to not think about it at all. Because the more you think about it, the worse you play, because you have to focus on the game, as I kind of mentioned earlier.
For sure. Your other games against Cavanos, because you did, of course, win that series and the championship. How do you feel about those ones? Or, how were you able to recover after that second game?
Yeah, I mean, the first game was like crazy in its own right. I was the one with the really bad spawn, but actually managed to win because Cabanos played it too safe. It was really kind of funny that way. And then I do the exact same thing second game. And then third game, like I just had to like forget about the second game, pretend it didn't even happen. Because right now, third game, that is all that matters. Like I can reflect on the second game later. Obviously, I made a ton of mistakes in that game. But at the moment, I can't think about that. Have to focus on this. If I play well, surely I win. Just focus up. And I was able to get it done.
Tolbby, any questions to our Zebasi champion?
No, I don't really have any questions. It's just for me, it was, I already knew it was going to happen because it's Justeeni Linguini. So I'll be rooting for Justeeni the whole way through. And I actually plan on seeing him take it all the way to the finals. So... I've called him as the best one from 3 years ago when I started streaming, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Yep. So maybe one last. How do you feel about the face-off? Any kind of strategies do you have planned for this tournament? Because there is another step before going to Stockholm, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to not think about it too much, right? I don't want to psych myself out. So really just the game plan is practice.
Okay.
That's all there is to it. Just don't overthink it. Practice, play the best I can when I am in the playoffs. And if I play well, then things should go well. So,
did you actually practice with Zebasi? Because Ram shared that he was exercising a few tribes, which performed the best on different kind of maps. So did you do the same or?
No, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I was going into the qualifiers, I was not expecting to win. I was just like,
Okay.
we're gonna have some fun, have some content,
Okay.
It was only until later when I actually started to feel the pressure, which I think that's what helped me get past the group stages. I was just playing for fun, Like,
Okay.
but yeah, hopefully though I can play even better in the playoffs when I actually have some really good practice.
Sure. Okay, we are excited to see you in the face-off. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you're gonna reach the finals, not only the face-off. And and good luck. Do you feel like becoming a champion, or not really yet?
I mean, again, I'm trying to not think about it too
Okay.
much.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, just don't play it too safe.
Yep.
I know, exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Justeeni.
Play good moves, win the
Have a
game.
good one. Yeah. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yep. So this was Justeeni, and we have all the games planned for the stream covered. Maybe next time we'll add at least one of the games from the finals, because I feel this is one thing that is missing. Yeah. So we'll work on this next time. Anything you'd like to add, gentlemen?
Well, I'm
Those
definitely
two
going to be
great.
standing by. Go for it, Eno. You got it.
Yeah, weren't those two great? Ram and Justeeni showing up, chatting with us. Yeah,
Yep.
those two guys I want to see in Sweden for sure.
Mm. Yeah, I want to keep that. So I already contacted the guys that they won the Barter and Imperius finals. So I hope to have them on the stream next week. And yeah, and I also I hope that you'll be here. Yeah. So this is kind of an invitation for the next week, if you have time.
Absolutely.
Okie doke. So we'll be wrapping this live stream now. Yeah. So there are still qualifications going on. So if you feel like trying to win other qualifications with Chinchi, Luxidor, I don't know, Quetzali, Hudrick. So yeah, go ahead and join the tournaments. Like I said, we'll be here next week and probably the week after this one. We'll try to cover all the qualifiers, and then the face-off, and finally we'll see you in Stockholm on December 6th. Thank you everyone again for joining. Thank you guys for commenting, and thank you Ramdingler and I know and Justeeni too for extra commentary on their games. So see you soon. Bye.
Y'all take care.